Welcome back to West Texas View.
We're glad to have you back for our last segment of today's show, but we've got so much to talk to you about that we're going to ask Stephanie to come back next Sunday also. But I want us to talk a little bit about how you put these programs together and how you know what to put together.
We are a rental venue. I think that's the easiest way for folks to think about us. We're a big building that can be rented. And so we have right now, because we have such a great facility, been very attractive to promoters and managers of these artists. And so they come to us in many ways. Sometimes we reach out to them a little bit if we know it's somebody that would be great for this area, to kind of try to entice them to come our direction. But most of the time they come to us, they rent the facility, just the same way that the Midland Odessa Symphony Chorale rents our facility to host their season. Or Live on Stage rents us to host their season. So that's a little bit of how that happens. So if you have a nonprofit group or you have a function, we do have a recital hall that's a smaller room that can be rented for banquets and receptions and things of that nature. We're always interested in hearing your thoughts and what we might be able to help you do as far as a booking is concerned.
For example, you've had a high school graduation.
We've had a high school graduation.
And you've had somebody that wanted to do a fundraiser, and so they came and talked to you, and then they came and provided
they did a concert, and it was a fundraiser for their organization. So so there's lots of different ways that we can utilize the facility, not just in the entertainment aspect of it and bringing in all these entertainers and these
so
promoters.
I guess you could say, think what could go on a stage, and
there are possibilities. Absolutely, there are possibilities.
And the other good thing is great parking, right? Almost within the doors.
We have great parking, and we don't have to pay for parking.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is great.
And they were talking about it's a Super Bowl, how many thousands of dollars each ticket was going to cost. Plus, then by the time you added up the parking, and even the shuttle now is going to cost you to get from your car to the front gate.
So we don't make you pay for shuttle. We don't make you pay for parking. Yeah. So
you don't have to park far enough to need a shuttle.
That's right. That's right.
But let's talk a little bit more about some of the since you've opened, and it hasn't been but 2.5 years. Talk about some of the past kinds of performances and how you worked with those managers and promoters.
We have, of course, we opened with our Grand Gala, which was Rod Stewart, which, of course, they solicited him to come here, which was great. I mean, it was just such a fabulous event. And since then, we've had great performances. And these were all, again, promoter-driven performances, which means that the promoter contacted us and they rented the facility.
Which means that they were trying to make a series of stops.
Absolutely.
And they wanted to stop in Midland instead of going to Lubbock or San Antonio.
We are on a great route between Dallas and El Paso, and sometimes anywhere in between, the other direction, north and south. And so that's exactly what they do. It's a routing. It's what we call routing. And so they can find out if there's a way to route them to us, and then they can rent the facility for the day and have an extra concert that they may not have had within that process of that tour. So
they have another night's performance.
Absolutely.
And the same way coming up from north to south. You might have somebody that starts a concert tour
in South Texas,
Galveston or Houston, and come right on up.
And is going straight up the country. Absolutely. But we've had Ray Price at our facility, who we just lost recently, of course, but just so wonderful to have had him on our stage. Glenn Campbell did his Goodbye tour. We were one of the only Texas stops on his Goodbye tour, which was amazing. We've had, of course, the Robert Earl Keen and Lyle Lovett shows. Rock, we've had Pat Benatar, ZZ Top, Bryan Adams, who did a phenomenal, just acoustic, intimate performance. Going back to country, you had talked about missing the Oak Ridge Boys concert. Oak Ridge Boys have been here twice. They are coming back. If you love the Oak Ridge Boys, they'll be back next year in January. So no worries there. You'll get to see them. They put on a fabulous show.
I've seen them before, and that's why I wanted to go back.
We have a great Broadway in the Basin series that we host each season. That is a co-production between the facility and a Broadway promoter. And so coming up in end of March, so soon, we should announce the new Broadway season maybe 1st of March, I should say. We'll announce a full slate of Broadway shows. Those are all national touring productions. And then, of course, we've even had comedy. We've had George Lopez and Gabriel Iglesias and Angela Johnson for those that young and up-and-coming kids. You know, we've just had such great variety of performances at our building, and I just can't emphasize enough coming out to see the Symphony or Midland Festival Ballet or the Live on Stage nonprofit group that hosts those shows that that they bring in, because all of those organizations really started here in West Texas, have grown here in West Texas, and as a facility we want to continue to help them grow and nurture new audiences.
And again, at a very low price.
Absolutely.
Now, do you help set the price of the tickets? For example, if Lyle Levitt came, when he came in, did they say what's your going rate or so?
That's a very good question. We do not determine the ticket prices. That is all done by the promoter in the show, and a lot of that is based on the fee of the artist, the rent, everything included. So it's they have to come up with a specific number in order to be able to pay for the show, what we call pay for the show. So you will find some shows that obviously Tony Bennett was a much more expensive ticket price than, say, a Lyle Lovett. But we do our best as a venue to try to guide them in the right direction, let them know what is a good affordable price for us here, and if we can keep it within that. You're going to have some shows like Angela Johnson's comedy show. She was very specific in saying, I don't want to have an expensive ticket price, so my tickets are $30. Across the board, doesn't matter. And then when you come back to our local groups like the Symphony or Midland Festival Ballet, you're always going to have those really affordable $25 tickets. A lot of times they'll give student discounts or student rates or a senior discount when we can give a senior discount. We also have group rates. We have we have great shows that are very group oriented, so we do group rates so that you can get a discounted rate if you come in a group of 8 or 10 or more. So we do try to keep the prices very affordable, and I think that if you go on the website and you search through those shows, that you will find a show and a price range that's suitable. And like you said, even if it's in the second balcony, there's no bad seat in the house.
That's right.
So you get a great experience.
So if no matter what kind of program it is, they can get their tickets online on the WagnerNoel.com.
If it is hosted in our facility, WagnerNoel.com, you can find the list of all the shows there. When you click on the show, it's going to take you to eTix, which is our only authorized ticket provider. I do want to mention that. That's eTix. It'll take you directly to that page, and you can purchase your tickets right online. You can also call a 1-800 number if you don't like to use online. We have an eTix 1-800 number that you can always find there on the website as well. So it's very easy to order tickets if you're anywhere within our outlying area. We'd love for you to get tickets and come to a show.
This ends our program today. It's been so much fun to have Stephanie and her enthusiasm to talk about the Performing Arts Center, and we'll be back next Sunday with more on this.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB-TV and KWES-TV.